night before her wedding, she found out that her husband-to-be was cheating on her that night, and she went to the Morris Chapel and hung herself from the raft.
I don't like the story.
And you're supposed to be.
She was possessed. She was not the woman I married. Something changed. I felt there was something evil in this woman. That thing.
Yeah, I came in my room and he was laying on the ground dead.
Screams at night. What would you do?
Probably scream back.
I'm not gonna say they are. I'm not gonna say they're not.
Now you can go.
First question is, do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever heard of Morris Chapel before?
Yes.
Can you give us a little background on that?
I've heard lots of stories actually. The one that stands out the most is there was a woman that was supposed to be getting married there, and the night before her wedding, she found out that her husband-to-be was cheating on her that night, and she went to the Morris Chapel and hung herself from the rafters and killed herself.
Follow-up question: have you ever been there?
Yes.
Ooh. Have you ever encountered a ghost?
I think yes. Wait, do you mean there or just
No,
in general?
in general. In general.
Yes, I think so. Once when I was at Morris, we went, a group of friends, it was like midnight, we all went out there we went to a lot of different places that were supposedly haunted. And we were there and we checked all the doors. We weren't gonna do anything destructive, we just wanted to do some research or whatever. And all the doors were locked and we were getting ready to go and we heard a woman start singing from inside the chapel. For whatever reason, one of my friends, the last one to leave, decided to pull on the back door one more time, and all of a sudden the door popped open. And when he opened up the door, he could hear the organ playing inside. And we were done. We were done. We were like, nope, we're out of here. No, thank you.
Would you say that was your strangest experience before? Or?
Yeah, I grew up. My grandparents owned a funeral home, so they lived above it. So I was there all the time. So we were around dead people all the time, and my grandpa used to swear they were ghosts. But I think probably the craziest one, and I told Ty and them this story too. About 6 years ago, I was living in a house with my friend Ashley, and her dad at that point he had passed away 8 years prior. Landon was only 4, and he one night she was tucking him to bed, and he told her, "Your dad comes and sees me sometimes." And she says, "No, buddy, my dad's in heaven, you know." And he said, "No, he comes and sees me." So she runs upstairs really fast and gets a whole family picture. It was like lots of people, men, women, everybody. And he pointed directly at her dad. He had never seen a picture, never seen him before, pointed directly at her dad and said, "That's him. He comes and sees me at nights."
Ooh.
Yes. And I was like, I don't think that I want to throw you away. We're done with you.
So it's said to hear women screams at night. What do you think about that? Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, from what I understand, and I don't know if it's true, the Morris Chapel that is there now is not the original Morris Chapel. The original Morris Chapel is farther into the woods, and I also heard that it was built on an ancient burial ground of some sort. Those are just things that I've heard throughout the years, but yeah.
Investigate that.
Yes.
And last question here: how do you feel about Ouija boards? And would you participate in one of them?
No, I don't think so. I don't want to mess with I don't want the bad vibes.
All right,
no.
All right, thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Here we go. This is an
that on
interview with Mr. Joe here. And Johansson, sorry about that.
It's all right, Zach.
Okay.
Wait, 6 feet, social distance.
6 feet, sorry.
Yeah.
Do you believe in ghosts?
No,
You do not.
Why?
I haven't experienced anything that makes me think that they do exist.
You like to see to believe, is what you're telling me. You know, see something, you believe it?
I suppose.
Certain. Okay, all right. Have you ever heard of Morris Chapel?
No.
Haven't heard of it?
Is it in Buchanan?
It's in Niles, kind of, right off Pucker Street there. Basically, let me give you a little background here.
Is this an interview? Is this a history lesson?
No, you got to know a little bit
Okay.
about it, you know.
All right, I'm ready.
So basically, there's a groom that she was gonna get, or there's a bride and a groom. They're gonna get married there. Groom got cold feet, skipped town. Bride didn't like that so much. Went to where they were gonna get married and hung herself in the rafters of this church.
I don't like this
And
story.
you're supposed to be able to see the ghost if you go there. So,
Okay.
yeah, pretty sketchy. Next question would be, have you ever been there? But clearly you have.
No, I have not.
So-
Good question.
Yes. Have you ever encountered a ghost?
No.
You also have not done that. All right.
Well, you would think that if I would have
Yeah.
encountered one,
You
then I
probably
would
would
know
believe
that
in
they.
them,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
But that wasn't really part of the, But, all right. Next
Okay.
thing is, what is one of your strangest experiences with like paranormal, like supernatural type stuff?
Strange experience. Okay, here's one. My family has a faith, right, a Christian faith or whatever, and I was at a youth group, and I must have been in like 5th or 6th grade, and I was a parent from down the street, a friend of mine. You know, they drove me to church and then drove us back or whatever. And when I got back home, the TV was on, food was on the dinner table, lights were on all over the house and stuff, and none of my family's there. I'm like 5th, 6th grade. I'm just like, this is weird. So I tried going next door.
Yeah.
They're always there. Older people, right? You know, well-known neighbors who went to the same church as us, had the same faith or whatever. They're not there either. What's going on here? And we'll go to the neighbors on the other side of the house. Same story, right? Same church, whatever, you know, stuff. Rangeline Road, right? And they're not there either. So then I'm starting to get nervous.
Okay.
I'm like, what happened? You know, whatever. I thought, like, did the rapture happen? Did Jesus come back or whatever? And I left here and I wasn't good enough or whatever. So long story short, I start walking down Rangeline Road and the family had just taken a walk and there was a new house being built like on Lake Chapin. And then I was like, oh my goodness.
Check it out.
Thank goodness.
That's good.
That was a good story?
What was it?
All right, good.
I got another question for you though. So you know how the dude left his wife, made her hang herself, all this, makes like the whole story, right? Have you ever thought about leaving your wife?
Is this serious? This is a brutal interview. No, I have not.
Good.
I love you, honey. You ever see this?
It's getting sent to her. Okay. And it's said that you can hear women's screams at night, right? You know, when you go there.
I don't think I want to
to
go there.
What would you do if you heard women scream? You went there, so let's say you went there, right?
Yeah.
Took a field trip there.
Yeah, right,
And you
okay.
heard it. What would you do?
I would want to leave.
Okay.
Would you like scream? Like
No, probably not. I just want to leave.
Seriously.
Sure.
No, like,
Would you
If I
run?
drove there myself, I would go and get in my
Okay,
car and
alright,
leave.
okay.
If someone drove me, I'd be like, hey, Ryan, let's get in the
You
car.
would investigate?
No.
Oh, okay. Smart, maybe. And then, do you know what a Ouija board is?
I do.
Do you know what, like, what's that called?
a seance.
A seance is?
What's that again?
Candles,
Oh, yeah, I don't like that.
the
stuff.
words.
I don't like watching movies and stuff like that.
Okay.
So you
My
wouldn't
roommate in college
participate
made me
in
watch
it?
The Exorcist and it was terrible and I hated it.
So you wouldn't participate?
No, thank you.
Not even a Ouija board?
No.
All right.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you
Wow.
for your
I feel like
time.
you guys are.
Brown. I got some questions for you. So,
All right.
First one is, do you believe in ghosts?
I believe in the possibility that paranormal activities and perhaps apparitions could exist. I'm not 100% convinced, but I leave it open.
Okay. Have you ever witnessed a ghost?
I believe
Think
I've
so?
witnessed activity
Okay.
from what I consider could possibly be something that I couldn't explain, could possibly be paranormal activity or a ghost, yeah.
All right. What is like the scariest paranormal activity that you have witnessed before? Like, what is the spookiest thing that you would see?
I had a close relative that died, and in the morning I had a very vivid dream that he appeared to me, and he had died under bad circumstances, and pretty much explained to me and was crying what happened, and it was very vivid. It's another one that comes to mind. What probably scared me the most, sent chills up and down my spine, was I was going through a divorce. I felt that my wife, maybe I was telling even the people at the time that it was like she was possessed. She was not the woman I married. Something changed. I felt there was something evil in this woman, that thing she was doing. I had an aunt who lived in California that had had a bad car accident 6 months earlier and died 3 times on an operating table. She got religion. She was very religious after that. Very, very religious. We hadn't seen her I hadn't seen her in almost 20 years. She visited my mother here in Rolling Prairie, and I was going through this divorce, and my mother and her going through pictures in the bedroom and going through an old picture album, and all of a sudden my aunt starts screaming. Now, mind you, my aunt had never met my wife, who I was divorcing. I hadn't seen her in 20 years. My aunt starts screaming, oh, get that away from me, get that, that's evil, get that out. I was like, what are you talking about, Ben? What are you talking about? She says, who is that? That's evil, who is that? I was like, that's my soon-to-be ex-wife, Betty. She says, oh my God, she is evil. Get her out of here. You gotta get away from her, Gene. You gotta get away from her. I say, I'm a divorcer. Oh, you gotta get away from her. It's evil. There's evil there. I mean, it's just like, oh my God.
That's nuts.
As I've been telling people, it's like, that was scary. You know, she had never seen her or met her, and she just starts screaming, ah! You know.
I've met some scary women before too, Mr. Brown. Next question is, have you ever heard of Morris Chapel?
Yeah, I've briefly, yes.
Do you know some of the background on like what happened there?
Fill me in.
Okay, so basically, two people were getting married back in the 1800s.
Yes.
This was a long time ago. The groom decided to skip town, and the bride didn't like that, so she went that night to the chapel where they were going to get married and hung herself in the rafters.
Oh, okay.
And now it's known that if you go there at night, you can see her and her husband hanging
Possibly.
from a tree, and the lights
Okay,
are on.
possibly,
And,
yeah.
all that's spooky stuff. So, yeah. Have you ever been to a haunted place before?
You mean like a real place that that supposedly had apparitions or ghosts or something in it?
Yeah.
The only place I could say, and I talked to some people yesterday about it on a short interview, was I had a house in Hobart, my first house I ever bought, was over 100 years old, and the man's wife died in it, who I bought it from. She had died. And there were some unexplained things that happened to the house, and I felt it. And he believed his wife was there. In fact, it was a very strange request. Before he sold me the house, he made me agree to let him visit once a month to visit his wife. He was a nice old guy. I said, that's okay, no problem. He'd sit in the kitchen and talk to his wife, who was dead, and carry on a conversation. And he'd only come back once a month. And some things happened, I won't go into detail, but a lot of things happened, especially after I remodeled the kitchen, because the kitchen was her favorite place, and he had built the cabinets in there for it, and I remodeled it. He was upset, and he said she was going to be upset, and many things started happening after that that were unexplainable. Could be a logical explanation, but many things that I could not explain happened after that. Until he came back one day, and I heard him in there, he says, these are good people, Martha, leave them alone. They didn't mean any harm. It's their house, they can do what they want. The problem stopped after that.
That's nuts. That's what I got out of there, Mr. Brown. Last question. If you were to go to Morris Chapel and see this bride and groom hanging from the tree, what would your reaction be?
If I knew the story, I probably wouldn't be afraid, but I would be interested and intrigued. I definitely wouldn't get very close. I would leave it alone.
Just poke with a stick, right?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
I have respect for that.
Yeah. Unless they're trying to get you, Mr. Brown, then you gotta fight back, give them a little right hook, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate it.
We'll get there. But basically, the story is this woman was gonna get married there, but her husband ditched, right? The day before. So basically, it's kind of sad that she ends up hanging herself at this chapel. And supposedly, her ghost is still there.
I can understand that.
Okay, so are you ready? Is it going? It's going. So first question is, do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
You do? Alright. Have you ever heard of Morris Chapel?
No.
No. Okay. And have you ever been there?
No.
Okay. Have you ever encountered a ghost? Do you think?
Do I think?
Yes.
No.
No? Alright, but you said you do believe. Do you have any strange experiences, or can you say why you
Family members have.
Oh, really? Wow. Can you say which family members, or
The what?
can you say which family members encountered this ghost?
My
or
family.
Your family? Okay.
In my grandmother's house, when my mother was a child, there was a rocking chair that liked to rock at night. That nobody
Knew why?
knew why it would just automatically start rocking. So they figured that there was a family member that deceased and they were still there.
Rocking in the chair?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so it said that you can hear women's screams at night at the Morris Chapel. So if you say we're there at Morris Chapel and you heard women's screams at night, what would you do?
What would I do? If I knew the background story, I'd probably leave. If I didn't know the background story, I'd probably go look and see try to find out what the screams were about.
Really? So you would, if you knew the background story, you would run, get in your car and leave.
Probably.
Smart decision. Okay. And the last one is, do you know what a Ouija board is?
Yes, I do.
Would you ever participate in one?
I have many times.
Really? Did anything come out of it? Any scary stories?
No.
No? So do you think they're real or no?
I'm not going to say they are. I'm not going to say they're not.
Alright, fair enough. Thank you, sir.
You're most welcome.
Question is, do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah.
You do. Or can you elaborate on it, like why or?
Because I swear one killed my pet parakeet.
Your pet what?
Parakeet.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's sad. Okay.
His name was. Never mind.
What was his name?
Matt.
Matt? Oh, nice. Just Matt?
Yep.
So have you ever heard of Morris Chapel? No?
No.
Alright, so you obviously haven't been there. Have you ever encountered a ghost? No? Alright. You've had any weird experiences? Like,
No, not that I can remember.
what about your bird dying? How did
Oh
that
yeah.
happen?
I came in my room and he was laying on the ground dead.
Oh, dang. Ghost got him. Okay, so basically, you know in the story, the husband left the day before the wedding.
Mm.
Would you ever leave your wife?
Yep.
Oh. Nice. Okay. And it said that you hear women's screams at night at the chapel. So if you were there, let's say, what would you do?
I'll run until I couldn't run anymore.
Nice. Smart answer. Do you know what the Ouija board is?
Yeah.
Have you ever participated in one, or would you?
I would. I haven't before though.
You're not scared? All right. Thank you very much. Have you ever had any weird experiences, like your bird dying or anything?
Not a bird. My friend lives in a haunted house.
Oh.
So,
Which friend?
her name's Tegan.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
You guys hear any weird noises there?
We've seen some weird things happen, but not heard.
Not going there. All right. So, you know the whole story about the husband leaving. I gotta alter this question a little bit. Would you ever leave your husband?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Depends
Me
what he
too.
does.
I get it. All right. And then it said that you hear women's screams at night. What would you do?
Probably scream back.
Oh.
We're going back to like the original place right now. Oh shit, that is a scary looking tree. Why is the tree looking like this? I'm not showing my supplies.
We got some candles, you know. That's great. We got some bread.
That Zach ate.
We got salt. Protect us.
Oh, yeah.
We got some rope too.
Can't you? You also gotta buy people.
We got Dot scented, you know. The devil likes it. Okay, I'll get this on video. This is the good stuff right here, right? Alright. Join hands now for everybody to kind of see together. Okay. So, it's 1 in the morning right now. Everyone's little 1 in the morning. Okay. Okay. You guys all read that?
Wait, where's it
Wait,
at?
do we all have to say it?
Right here.
We'll follow your lead, bro.
Okay. Our beloved Catherine,
Our beloved Catherine,
we bring you gifts from life into death.
we bring you gifts from life into death.
Commune with us,
Commune with us,
Catherine,
Catherine,
and move among us.
and move among us.
Okay, now we wait for a response. The candles are going out.
Candles.
Okay, say it again, say it again.
Okay. Our beloved Catherine,
Our beloved
beloved
Catherine,
we bring you gifts from life into death.
We bring you gifts from life into death.
Commune with us, Catherine,
Commune with us, Catherine.
and move among us.
and move among us.
They're getting real.
Let's do it 3 times
Yeah.
for Catherine.
Okay.
Why they get bigger?
This is beloved Catherine,
Our beloved Catherine.
we bring you gifts from life into death.
We bring you gifts from life into death.
Commune with us, Catherine,
Commune with us, Catherine.
and move among us.
And move among us.
Look at the candles. Okay. Now we gotta see if we can make contact.
Make a noise if you're with us.
1 for no and 2 for yes. They're going out. Dude, those 2 are about to die.
Say it again, say it again.
Our beloved Catherine,
Our beloved Catherine,
we bring you gifts from life into death.
We bring you gifts from life into death.
Commune with us,
Commune with us,
Catherine,
Catherine.
and move among us.
And move among us. Look at the candles.
Do when we say it, they go out, and then like after it's done,
If I can hear reading my Bible.
they're going crazy now. What the heck?
I think she likes the bread. I think it's safe to say the bread was a hit.
Our beloved Catherine,
our beloved
Beloved
Catherine,
we bring you gifts from life into death.
We bring you gifts from life into death.
Commune with us,
commune
Catherine,
with us,
Commune with us,
Catherine,
and move among us.
and move among us.
If you are here, dim in one of the candles.
Did you see that one? That one went
Holy
straight
shit.
down. She got all of them down
They
the
all-
car. Alright, y'all. Got my Bible. We're going to the church.
It's still damp right here. Got the pillow.
Parched. Should take a little bath.
Or a piss.
Bro, wait, what's that up there that's like shiny? I think it's probably Jesus. Oh.
Or Catherine. Catherine. Catherine, if you can hear us, make a noise.
It came from over here.
Catherine, if you can hear us, make noise.
Straight people shit.
Alright, right now we're going to do the seance and where we heard the most noise coming from inside the church.
Who are you looking for?
Catherine.
This is about the girls, because there were 2 of the girls here too.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know their names.
Catherine, are you alone? 2 of them died down.
That's
That means
2, that's
yes.
yes. Are you getting that, Kaylin?
Did it back up? Oh.
Any last words?
Just heard some creepy sounds. Thought I saw something in a tree. I'd say the seance was successful.
Captain. Give me respect.
Any last words about the seance, Zach?
It was pretty sketch. I mean, I don't know, there was weird noises coming from inside the church. Weird noises in the walls.
So now we gotta investigate.
As y'all saw in the presentation, that means it's a haunting, guaranteed. I couldn't tell you if it's any colder out here because it's already freezing, so, you know, just kind of rolling with it for now. No, you hear those fucking kids, bro. No, bro, we gotta get out of here. We need to leave. I think we should leave.
Oh, wait. For real though, can we talk about that? What the fuck was that? Because there are no kids around here.
No, guys, I'm gonna talk about it.
Can we leave in peace? Goodbye. Okay.
Goodbye. Let's leave.